I want you to show me Tyron Woodley's record from the moment that Colby got a win against him. Oh, he's got nothing but losses there. 4 losses in a row. As much shit as Colby talks and the whole shtick, clean fighter. He's a clean fighter.
Oh, yeah?
He goes out there, he does his job, he puts pressure on guys, and, he comes away with the win usually by breaking people down. Can he break Leon down? I don't know. We're going to find out. Dave will say yes. So we'll have Leon on to say why that's not going to happen.
Here's the thing. When I look at Colby and I look at Leon, I think that Colby's going to be a harder fight for Leon than Kamaru Usman was. I think that Kamaru Usman, like he said, all the buildup, all the things, he's already beat Leon. He beat him years ago. I know Leon's a different fighter. We've seen it.
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
that being said, John, Colby still has that gas in the tank to push, to get in your face, exchange.
Kamaru's got a great
I'm not disagreeing with that. But he even said on the Rogan show, it was like a fucking weight off of his shoulders when the fight was over.
Sure.
He'd been doing it for a while. He'd been the champion for a while. He'd done a lot of good things. He's defended it many times.
And not only was he the champion, Josh, he was the pound for pound number 1. That was pressure too. There's all those things. They add up.
So that all those things. And the other thing too is he got away from his wrestling. What got him to the dance? He just got away from it because some of the knee stuff, some of the injuries. Plus getting older. And I've said it before. Sure. Like you get a couple knockouts. Not only do you fall in love with the fight, the stand up, and that's what he needed to do because he was getting older. But also to make some changes. But it was also because his body was breaking down on him. His knees were hurting him, his back, all these things, it becomes a problem. And so when I look at Colby is the guy who will just continue to wrestle. And we saw in the second fight, the first one he beat him with the wrestling, the second fight in the title match, he was able to take Leon down after the first round. And he was able to kind of not almost say outstrike him, but he was doing some good work on the feet also. But he was able to control some of that wrestling in that second fight. The third fight is where Leon had just a switch. Something flipped, and he just believed in himself a lot more and just fought a way better fight. Now, I think you're going to see that same Leon against Colby. But Colby's...
I was going to say, let me ask you this. Don't you think that having Leon fight guys that are big-time wrestlers, good wrestling, and everything. One thing that Leon does not have to worry about with Colby the same way he has to worry about it with Usman is Colby doesn't have the power that Usman has. He doesn't have that one-punch knockout power. That right there, so that opens things up a little bit for you. Now, he does have the wrestling, and he does have the gas tank, but at this point, Leon has proved himself to be a pretty goddamn good wrestler, a defensive wrestler, a guy that can keep guys from taking the fight where they want. And his, prior performances, he's now showing I've stopped it multiple times. Yeah, you're going to get taken down, but he gets himself back to his feet and he does it well.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be an easy, I'm not saying it's easy to get up from a wrestler, but having a guy that's a good wrestler that, takes someone down and then can't keep them down and they're back up and all that energy was burnt and you didn't get the fight where you want it. Now you're in the same position you tried to get away from. Mentally, that starts to be a problem for a lot of guys too. I'm not saying it will be for Colby. He's pretty strong when it comes to just sticking with what he's good at. But all those things, this is why this is a great, we're going to talk a lot about this fight because it's interesting the way that they match up.
Yeah, what's interesting to me is that Colby, even though his stand-up's not on Leon's, it's not anywhere near his level. But that being said, his punches come from weird angles, and it's always the punches that you don't see that knock you out. And so when this whole fight starts to break out, Leon just can't fight him like a traditional stand-up guy, like how he fought Kamaru or how he fought Nate and all these other guys, because those guys will throw punches in normal standard ways. Sorry, excuse me. But Colby will throw uppercuts, overhand rights, loopy punches, over the top, and from different angles, just to set up his stand-up, to get you moving your hands upward so he can get in deeper on the legs. Leon's done a great job with this double hand wrist control and just keeping his positioning is the most important part.
2-on-1.
People want to make this big deal about the double hand wrist control. I think it is a big deal, but I know guys that can control you when you still have double hand wrist control. It's just the way they position their body against you. And Leon's able to, he understands where he needs his body to be while he has that double hand wrist control. And that makes it easier for him to start scooting his back to the fence or turning to face you and putting the hand down in the pocket and then turning to face you. He's doing a really good job of that. And we saw a little bit of that from his brother also against Johnny Eblen. And then he looked like he started to kind of get a little tired from doing it so much. Leon's got it under control right now. He's got to make sure he's in phenomenal shape because Colby will be pushing the action. He will be trying to wrestle a lot more than Kamaru Usman did in their, second and third fights. So, like you said, we're going to be talking about this fight a lot, but it is a very interesting fight to me because Leon with the speed, the great stand-up, the slickness of it all, and Colby with the wrestling and the awkward style stand-up, could potentially slide something in there. So it makes for a fun fight, man. I mean, but realistically, where do they go? Do you call this a Dana White privilege fight with Colby Covington?
Let's be honest. Are there other people that are more deserving? Yeah, there are. I'm just going to say it straight out. I mean, I like Colby, but take a look at Colby's record in his last
4 fights.
4 fights. What is he? 2-2. Okay. Now there are guys that are on long winning streaks. Now Colby's those fights, if you're going to look, okay, he's got the win against Masvidal, loss against Kamaru, win against Woodley. Now, I'm going to be honest when I look and say, okay, the win against Robbie. Robbie, at that point in his career, and he was on the way down. Still tough, still got a lot of power. So I give all the credit to Colby for getting the win. Kamaru beats him in the championship fight. Then he comes back and he beats Woodley.
Yeah.
But Woodley was also on the way down.
Yeah.
He had lost the title to Kamaru, and he wasn't the same guy. But he got the win. Then he loses to Kamaru a second time. But I thought he fought a better fight.
You guys are not.
It's not fair.
It's not fair. Like say, he's just beating guys that are on the way out.
Really? What? Okay. Hold on. Do me a favor, Dave.
Mm-hmm.
Since he wasn't on the way out, I want you to show me Tyron Woodley's record from the moment that Colby got a win against him. Oh. He's got nothing but losses there.
To Kamaru.
4 losses in a row.
No, look, he lost
4 losses in a row.
John, you got to listen.
4 losses in a row.
You got to listen.
You know what happens when you have 4 losses in a row?
You got to listen, though.
You got to listen to me.
You're
kind of having a problem.
He only had 2 losses though before he lost to Colby.
He lost to Bell. He lost to Bell, and then he lost to Gilbert, and then he lost to Colby. So he only had 2.
And then he lost to Jake Paul twice.
Jake Paul. Oh
yeah.
Yeah, but wait, he lost to Jake Paul after all that crap.
Yeah.
After
exactly
Colby.
After Colby.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything. After Colby doesn't mean anything. Colby's the one that really shut down his career.
Oh my God.
You're nuts, dude. All right, we were on the same page, Dave, until you did that shit. I love it. I was like kind of on Dave's side until you said that.
Dude.
You lost me, brother.
I mean, he wasn't on his way out. He was.
Look, go scroll down. Let's be honest here. Let's try and be real.
Who, Colby or Tyron?
No, with Tyron. Okay. Yeah, so with the Tyron fight, right? With Damian Maia, he had a decision win. With remember the 2 fights with Stephen Thomson. One was a draw, and then one was a majority decision. It wasn't like he looked fantastic. The last time he looked fantastic was against Robbie Lawler when he won the title. Right. Even against Darren Till. I mean, Darren's not known for his submission defense. He got caught in the choke, whatever. But I thought he looked good. I still thought he looked good.
I'll give it. Woodley looked good against Till.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Loses to Kamaru Usman decision. But then you can just see it. He just started to slow down. Like in terms of he just didn't want to have output. I don't know what happened. We don't know. I just know that I've trained with Tyron Woodley. He's a hard worker. He's very smart when it comes to his cage presence and his ring presence, when we'd work, and his grappling, all those things. He just ran into guys that had the recipe for him, and that was called pushing the pace. And guys that could wrestle him. He didn't like when he would train with guys like John Fitch and Koscheck. I mean, they would have good little scraps, but you had to lean towards those guys, towards Koss and Fitch, because they just had that little extra push, the little more I don't say cardio, that little extra push, that little extra. Okay, when you stop moving, I'm gonna keep going, and that's not cardio. That's just really like I'm gonna go when you're done going, and that's both of those guys had that. Kamaru Usman had that. Gilbert Burns had that. I mean, they just seemed like they wanted it more at that point of the career. And then after the Kamaru Usman and the Gilbert Burns situation, the Colby fight came along, and there was bad blood between them, and I think the tension of all that. Remember, he hurt his rib. Once it wasn't going his way, he started hurting his rib. He hurt his rib and just couldn't perform. Then the Vicente Luque fight just didn't look the same. I mean, he was scrapping. Remember, they were throwing down.
Oh, he was throwing.
He was throwing down. He knew it was at stake. He knew, like, if I lose this fight, I'm probably done. So I wouldn't say, like I said, when he lost to Colby, he had kind of written himself off. Colby, though, has lost to guys that were on their kind of their way out, whether it was T Wood or Robbie Lawler. Robbie has been always someone who's just fun to watch. He's got great power. He's a fucking legend in the sport. But he was, closer to 38, I think, at the time that he fought him. Somewhere around there. Yeah, 2019. So he's about 38 years old. Colby being the younger guy, great pace, whatever it was. Colby had his number, got him that night in a decision. Kamaru Usman had his number, got him, and broke his jaw in that first fight, I believe. And then after that, he beats T Wood, and then he comes back and fights Kamaru again, loses. Then he fights Masvidal. Masvidal was on the way out. That was his last fight, I believe, was the Colby Covington fight. Correct, John? Yeah, he retired. And Robbie retired, just recently also, but he was on his way out. Like,
no, hold on.
No, he fought.
I think had one more fight.
He fought them fighting Nate. He fought Gilbert Burns.
Oh, okay. Burns, yeah. Yes, he had one more fight.
Got it. Okay. So, Dave, you had me until you said he ruined he finished his career. Oh man, I was trying to take your side for a second, buddy, but you fucking lost me.
100% agree.